American and Taliban officials agreed today to begin brainstorming the framework of a potential deal for peace in Afghanistan. In exchange for U.S. troop pullout, the Taliban must agree to a ceasefire and work with the Afghani government to keep the region from regressing into a haven for terrorists. Talking Points analyst Lowell is here to help us make sense of these developing negotiations. So Tyler, let's talk. What are the significance of these talks? I mean, we've heard in the past the U.S. doesn't negotiate with terrorists, and here we are in Qatar brokering a peace deal.
And here we are. You know, it is pretty significant. You know, the war in Afghanistan, as it stands, is America's longest war, running at about 17 years. And so just the fact that this conversation is even starting to be had is quite significant. I mean, looking, to put it into perspective even, some of your youngest classmates, some freshmen here, may have been born around the same time that this war started. So it's been going on for a long time. And in that amount of time, you know, we've had over 2,400 American deaths, but 45,000 Afghani deaths. And so, you know, it's just getting to a point now where they're trying to come to some sort of resolution so that the U.S. can come out of the area and the Taliban and the Afghani government can run things the best way they see fit.
Now, as they try to come to that resolution, this is a draft of the framework right now, definitely the early stages. But what have both sides been asking for so far?
It's a great, I'm glad that you brought that up. It is just a draft. It's sort of an agreement to come back to the, a promise to come back to the table to talk more. You know, so nothing has been agreed to yet except for that, you know, agreement to meet. The Trump administration, is willing to pull the troops out if there's a ceasefire. The sort of the catch-22 though is the Taliban will only agree to a ceasefire if there is a full U.S. withdrawal of the troops, but the U.S. is saying that the withdrawal is going to be contingent on the ceasefire, so they're kind of at an impasse right there. Importantly though, missing from the negotiating table is the Afghan government. You know, the Al-Qaeda insurgency views them as an illegitimate puppet of the USA, and so it's, you know, they're not part of that conversation, which is going to complicate things moving forward.
So it seems like there are a lot of what-ifs in this tenuous peace talk. So how could this all fall apart? What are the chances that they hold it together and we see a peace deal?
Sure. Well, I mean, piggybacking off of my last point, I think the biggest risk in all of this falling apart would be a breakdown in communication, especially between the Taliban and the Afghan government. Once the U.S. military leaves, it's completely in their hands. And the tension is that these Talibani leaders sort of want a path back to mainstream political acceptance. There was a period of time in which they ran the government, and so that's obviously what they're getting back towards. And the current president of Afghanistan is running for re-election, so he's in a very precarious situation. But many experts of this region and of this particular conflict do believe that there has to be some sort of power sharing between the two entities if the region is going to move forward at all.
Right, next round of talks expected in February. Tyler, thank you so much.
Thank you.